Hey everybody, John Granato from the bench. Mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5, and that's AJ Hoffman. He is on the Blitz for now on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. AJ, the Astros, finally, James Click, he came out of retirement and he made a move. Kendall Graveman, on paper, you get one of the best relievers in baseball this year anyway. One of the best in baseball this year for a utility infielder. On paper, looks great. Now, you get Baez coming back, or at least coming for the first time. Graveman, Presley. How do you see this thing working out for the bullpen? Things are looking up in that bullpen.
I think that you brought in Graveman to be your eighth inning guy unless you end up with a Craig Kimbrell. I think the reason you bring in Graveman is because the bidding war for Kimbrell was going to be too crazy. So you get the alternative, which I think is fine. I think what you've done now is you've created a situation where you've got a solid 8-9 every night. Christian Javier presumably is still going to pitch some key innings for you, unless the other deal that's to be made involves one of the guys that's currently in the starting rotation. And if that were to happen, I'm guessing Christian Javier gets ping-ponged back to the starting rotation and we start that mess again. But there's worse problems to have than that. So I think it's a low risk. Sure, okay, you're losing the last 3-4 years of Abraham Toro control. If Abraham Toro was ever a starting regular for the Astros fans would lose their mind saying, we've got to upgrade, we've got to upgrade. He's gone. Graveman you get for the rest of the season, and your bullpen improves greatly immediately. You take some high leverage innings off of Staneks and Raley's. There's no excuse to have those guys in key moments anymore.
And you got rid of Joe Smith, so Dusty can't even call that one anymore, which is awesome. Plus, you got rid of money. Jim Crane's going, you saved me money, and we got an actual guy that can come out of the bullpen. But Toro will be interesting to see if he turns into Ramon Laureano, Josh Hader, J.D. Martinez. There are some trades that you regret. Dude can hit. We've seen that. And playing every day, and he will in Seattle. He'll play every day because he's going to be one of their better hitters already. He probably is one of their better hitters already. There's a chance that you regret that in due time because you only got Graveman probably for these 2 months.
Yeah, but here's the deal. If you win a World Series, does it matter what he does? Let him go on to be a World Series MVP. I don't care. If you win a World Series this year, whatever you give up is, oh, great. It was totally worth it. You know, Josh Haders and things like that, it's easy in hindsight to go, oh, you're not going to win every trade long term. The Astros are in a win now mode. They need to win the trade for this season. And I think without question, they won this trade for this season. I don't care what happens beyond this because they're playing for this World Series.
Well, and that's it. Even if you don't win the World Series, you're going for it. Seattle players were pissed. What are we doing? We're giving up one of the best relievers in baseball for a utility guy. Are you kidding me? This is really the trade? But listen, they needed hitting too. It may turn out that Toro is going to be really good for them because they got to have some runs.
Maybe he will be. And you know, you mentioned even if they don't win the World Series, you remember the last time they made a big deal with the Mariners, Randy Johnson, and it's like, oh, Freddie Garcia goes on to have a great career. You know what? You went for it. The Astros were going for it that year. It didn't work out. It's not the wrong call to go for it when you're in a position to go for it.
It's a little odd, though, that you're playing your best ball and you're trading with the team that's leads your division. Back then, they were in different leagues. That was fine. This is a little bit different, certainly for Mariners fans, I would imagine.
I think knowing that Mariners fans and Mariners players are unhappy with this deal tells you that it was the right move for the Astros.
Yeah. Now, you didn't have to – you got rid of Joe Smith. You saved us a little bit of money. You didn't have to get rid of one of your top prospects, Corey Lee or Pedro Leon or any prospect, actually. There's still Max Scherzer out there. There's still Craig Kimbrell out there. Rodriguez from the Pirates is still out there. There's stuff that could still happen here. You see Click making another big move here?
I don't think they would have made this move unless there was something to come. I understand the importance of them dumping Joe Smith's contract. I think can't be understated or overstated. I think it's it's important that they were able to trim down a little bit and get closer to that tax number. And so it may be a smaller move coming. That's kind of what that tells me, is they still want to maybe stay under that cap if possible, but there's certainly another move to be made. And if you want to stay under that cap, and you're talking about the guy in Pittsburgh who's not a big cap hit, it means you're going to have to give something real up. Yeah. And so that may be a high-end prospect or someone, because the way to get a guy without giving up a high-level prospect is typically to take on a bunch of money. And the fact that they were moving Joe Smith, it makes me think they're still not looking to take on a bunch of money.
I don't know. I'm on the Scherzer train still. I know that they're not the favorites to get Scherzer, but with Correa money going away, with Verlander money going away, with Greinke money going away, it wouldn't shock me at all. This is the kind of move that Jim Crane makes. He has gone for it, and this team is good enough to win a World Series. If he goes to somebody else, which he will, then it just makes them stronger. It's a defensive move and it's an offensive move. I am not giving up on Scherzer just yet.
Okay, if Max Scherzer costs you a Garcia or a Fromber, are you making that deal?
If he costs me a Garcia, yes, I'm going to make that deal. Fromber is a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more difficult. But if I'm another team, I wouldn't mind Luis Garcia. I don't know that he has much less value. As young as he is, as good as he is, as good as he's been, a lot of guys think that Garcia might be better than Fromber. We've seen Fromber look great, but Fromber's lost his pinpoint control lately. And if he doesn't get that back, he ain't the Fromber that was your ace last year in the postseason.
Well, I said this yesterday on the show. If the Nationals say, we want this starting pitcher out of your rotation and you're going to get back Max Scherzer, it's a done deal. Max Scherzer is a true number one for a playoff series. You look at some of these teams that they're going to have to face, the White Sox. The fourth best pitcher on the White Sox is I probably trust more than the best pitcher on the Astros right now. You put Max Scherzer in an Astros uniform, there's no question who's pitching game 1 and no question who's pitching game 4.